age 76, it's sad to see where Sam Elliott lives. There are a lot of people in Hollywood who love Sam Elliott. His face and voice make him stand out from the rest. He got one great part after another for 50 years because of how good he looked on the screen. We all know that Sam Elliott is much more than just his beautiful baritone singing. He recently got a lot of attention when he put a restraining order on his daughter for cutting his wife and her mother. Find out the interesting story of one of Hollywood's most unexpected stars by continuing to watch. Father's wishes. He was born in California in 1944. At the time, his dad mostly worked in the woods as an animal control officer. Sam had always wanted to be an actor and thought it would be his calling, even when he was very young. But his father didn't agree with him and thought his dream was impossible. He insisted on going the usual route for a job, which meant getting a college degree. This fight between a father and son would last a lifetime, hurting their relationship and never getting the chance to be fixed. Sam still thinks that his father taught him to work hard, and he never once blamed his dad for wanting him to take the tried-and-true route to a realistic job. Sad ending. When Sam Elliott was only 18, his dad died of a sudden heart attack. There was no way for the father and son, who had been angry for a long time, to get back together. He lost his father when he was young, but that's never stopped him from doing well in his work. But it made the star rethink what was most important to him. He stopped going to college soon after his father died. Speaking about the death of his father, Elliott said, "He died thinking, man, this kid's going to go down the wrong path. And I think on some level that was either hard on me or made me more determined to have a career." Stabbed by. Sam Elliott's wife, Catherine Ross, got a protection order against their daughter, Cleo, after Cleo allegedly struck her with scissors and stabbed her several times. According to court documents, Catherine says that during a violent outburst, Cleo became very angry and told her, "I want to kill you." Catherine also says that when she tried to call the police, Cleo cut the phone line on purpose with scissors. After that, Cleo used these same scissors to stab Catherine at least 6 times. Because of this, a judge has given a protection order against Cleo, telling her to leave the family home and stay at least 100 yards away from her mother. Death hoax. There were fake reports about Sam going around on social media in August 2023. According to these claims, Sam Elliott had died, but this wasn't true at all and was nothing more than a death prank. Several YouTube movies spread false claims. On August 2nd, 2023, for example, a YouTube video called Sam Elliott Tribute was posted. The image of the video showed the year 1944 to 2023, along with the words, "Let's keep Sam Elliott's legacy alive and kicking." However, this wasn't the first time that the internet had used this kind of fake to target Sam. In 2019, the same kind of story spread, saying that he had passed away peacefully in his sleep. The rumor was also quickly shot down as false. Great start. A little help or a kind word can go a long way. When Sam Elliott first played a part in a local production of Guys and Dolls, he needed to hear words like these. Elliott, who was young at the time, was going to college in Vancouver. In one of its reviews, the city's newspaper praised his performance and said he should think about becoming a professional performer. Sam thought about what they said, and a few years later, he moved to Hollywood to follow his dream. What he's done so far is an important lesson for many of us. People's lives can change when the right words are said at the right time. Indeed, the reverse can also be true. Making a living. As a general rule, a failing actor who's out of work should become a waiter. Sam was more open to other options because he grew up in the wild. Back when Sam wasn't auditioning for roles, he worked as a construction worker to make ends meet. At the time, California was full of building jobs, so anyone looking for work had a lot of options. Sam's job would affect many of the parts he would become famous for. He'd be portrayed as tough, strong, and usually found outside. Military man. Because he's big and intimidating, Sam has played several military parts throughout his career. It always seemed like Elliott would be a good fit for a part as a fighter or an army leader when he was younger. As it turns out, Sam did some acting based on real life. He served in the California Air National Guard while he was in college and working as a construction worker. Sam thinks that this short time in the service was very important for building skills and focus that will help him in his playing career. The break. The actor didn't become a Hollywood star overnight, even though it looked like things were going well for him. He got his start in show business with a small part in the Douglas Western The Way West, which wasn't given to him. After that, he had a few small parts in a few episodes of the TV show Felony Squad, which was about a police investigation. He then had some other small parts over the next couple of years. It was these early jobs that helped him improve his acting skills and get noticed by the people who could help him take his acting career to the next level. Things were looking good for Elliott at this point. Screen debut. Elliott quickly landed his first major job in a major movie, though it was only a small part. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, starring Paul Newman and Robert Redford, was a great action western movie. Elliott was only known as Card Player and didn't even have a name for this job. Still, it was a big break for the young actor, especially since the movie was a huge hit and millions of people saw him. By a sweet stroke of luck, Catherine Ross, who played one of the stars in the movie, married Elliott many years later. They didn't work together in the movie and didn't meet again for 10 years. Small roles. Between the 1960s and 1970s, Sam got steady work in front of Hollywood cameras, but he had to wait a little longer for his big break during this time. Sam was in many TV shows, such as episodes of FBI, Land of the Giants, Bracken's World, and 3 episodes of Lancer. He also showed up in the movie The Games. Blossoming TV career. Elliott never stopped trying out for movie parts, and he did get some small parts here and there, but most of the jobs he was cast in during this time were for TV shows. They also started to get sexier, starting with a 13-episode regular part in the Mission Impossible series. Soon after that, he got a big break when he was cast as Evel Knievel in a biopic TV movie. Elliott was having a great start to his work between 1976 and 1977. He got the lead role in the 7-part miniseries Once an Eagle, which was based on the best-selling war book of the same name. The love connection. There was love in the air at that time. Elliott and Catherine Ross met on screen for the first time almost 10 years before they were cast together in The Legacy in 1978, a scary movie. It's interesting to note that Elliott only had a small role in their first project together, and they never had scenes together. Surprisingly, Elliott's life changed when he got the lead role in The Legacy. It was his first big movie part and the start of a romance with his lovely co-star that ended with a wedding in Hollywood. In another Hollywood story, Sam's new bride took things into her own hands, which made sure he would succeed. She was worried that Sam had turned down a screen test at first, so she called his agent right away and got him to agree to take it. The choice proved to be very important in making Sam a famous actor in popular Hollywood. Even though it can be hard to be a Hollywood star, Sam and Catherine have been married for over 30 years and are a great example of how to have a healthy, happy marriage. Catherine was already a megastar thanks to her major parts in movies like The Graduate and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Elliott, on the other hand, has had a much bigger business boom. Sam thinks about how his wife's work has changed over the years and notices that Catherine isn't as driven and doesn't chase it. He also thinks she deserves more attention in Hollywood, which shows how sweet he is and how well he knows the actor. Couldn't film. People didn't get to see Elliott in the 1982 TV movie The Ambush Murders, where he played the lead part. The movie was based on the true story of a black activist who was wrongly charged with killing 2 white police officers and the lawyer who took his case and worked to get him released. Back in the 1970s, the case got a lot of press across the country, and many people couldn't wait for the movie to come out. Sam Elliott played the lead part of the defense attorney, but he got sick while the movie was being made. James Brolin stepped in to take his place. This did happen sometimes, but it makes you wonder what the movie would have been like with the original star. Almost passed. Sam Elliott finally got the part that made him a big star in the public eye. Sam had a minor part in the 1985 movie Mask, which starred Cher, who won an Oscar and a Grammy. It was decided that he would play the rough but kind biker who was seeing Cher and helped to raise her physically disabled son at the time. Sam almost missed out on this important part because his agent called him while he was still on vacation to tell him about the chance. He told his agent he wouldn't be able to get back to California in time for a screen test. He was about to miss the best chance he ever had. Making moves. It looks like the smart person in the relationship stepped in and did something about it. When she learned that Sam had refused to go to the screen test, she became worried. She called his agent right away to let him know that the actor would be at the showing. It turned out that Catherine's move to take the lead was very important in making her husband a big star in popular Hollywood movies. Sam not only did a great job with Cher, who was at the top of her game at the time and is now one of the most famous artists of all time, but he also stole a few scenes. The Los Angeles Times wrote about Elliott's role in the movie and said his portrayal of the compassionate biker, Gar, has received nearly as much critical attention as the performances by the film's star, Eric Stoltz, and Cher. Cowboy's life. While Sam Elliott has played many different types of parts in his career, he's always been most associated with the Western genre. His great height, good looks, and childhood outside all help shape his tough and strong personality. Tombstone, The Quick and the Dead, The High-Low Country, You Know My Name, and The Desperate Trail are some of the Western movies that Sam's been in. Elliott's work was recognized by the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in 2007 when they added him to their Hall of Great Western Performers. Work ethic. There aren't many Hollywood stars like Sam Elliott who are both tough on the outdoors and strong at work. These kind of traits don't just appear out of thin air. No one grows up alone. One sign of how Sam became the tough guy he is today is how he was raised. He hasn't been too shy about it, which is a good thing. The Hollywood star said that he spent a lot of time with his dad as a child and that his dad's friends were all men's men and outdoorsmen. It looks like both nature and nurture made him into the person he is today. Sam's voice. Sam's deep, rich baritone voice got him a lot of voiceover and narration jobs, which wasn't a surprise. His co-star from The Ranch, Ashton Kutcher, once said that he thought Sam should tell the story of everything. On the other hand, Elliott's voice was not as deep in his earlier parts as it is now. It got better with age. When asked about his voice, Sam said, "It kept going down as I got older. Some of you who want to work as narrators for movies or TV shows should take heart in this. What's the secret? Don't stop getting old." Big secret. You can live a long and healthy life if you're picky about what you eat. You can also make sure your job lasts by being picky about the parts you take in Hollywood. To stay famous and important over the years seems to have always been Sam Elliott's plan. Many times he was mentioned as telling other actors and actresses not to take any part that was given to them because they'd get burned out and lose their fans if they did. Sam said that he wanted to be an actor since he was a child when he talked about his job. He said, "I wanted to be an actor since I was 9 years old, and I thought there was only one way to make it, and that was to be careful about what work you do." Mustache Man. Sam's mustache is one of the things that make him stand out. In a few movies, mostly from the 60s and 70s, he had to cut it, but he's rarely seen without his thick, amazing stash. Sam was one of the first people to be inducted into the International Mustache Hall of Fame in 2015. There is such a thing. People must be curious about what it's like to be rated by how you look. Oh, poor thing. What counts, though, isn't what's inside you. Yes, we're sure that Sam is a good sport and has a nice attitude. Family heritage. If you know anything about Sam, you know that Westerns have been a big part of his Hollywood success. There's no doubt that his tough attitude and impressive looks play a big role in this. It's not just that, though. His love of the Old West has a deep and important family background to it. "My family had a relative in the Alamo," Sam once said, adding that he also had a history in Texas. Sam knows about the Battle of the Alamo, which was important in the Texas Revolution, even though it ended in loss. The Republic of Texas finally got its freedom from Mexico at that point. Could he do it all? There's no doubt Sam has done well as an actor. There was no other talent his age who could compare. But this isn't the whole story of his time in Hollywood. He's tried his hand at producing, writing, and singing at least once that stands out. He's a Renaissance man. He sang a version of "I Won't Back Down" by Tom Petty for the hit cartoon movie Barnyard in 2006. In this movie, his speech work was very important. Besides that, he created and acted in the long-running Netflix show The Ranch. His net worth? It's not about the money, but it's hard to talk about Hollywood stars without being interested in how much money they have. According to several sources, Elliott's net worth is around $16 million. Even though that number could just be a guess, it's not too far off to say that Elliott has worked harder for his money than many Hollywood stars with more money. He's made most of his money from playing, but he also has made a good amount of voiceover and narration work. Elliott also has homes in several U.S. cities. Secret trick. It's interesting that Elliott's Hollywood career took off when the studio system was like a monopoly and controlled everything from casting to production. He began with Tom Selleck, a Western icon and longtime friend whom he still stays in touch with. They would often work with the secretaries and a lot of people who worked at Fox Studios' law offices so that they could see any new scripts before anyone else. If something caught his eye, Sam would start calling casting agents right away to get the job. Sam didn't think that was anything to be ashamed of. He said that in what was at the time a very tough business, you had to do anything to get ahead. The Perfectionist. You would think that Sam Elliott would have a very high opinion of his skills and abilities after years of success in the tough Hollywood world. That's not true at all. Sam is usually harsh on himself when he does something, and he's even said that he wishes he could go back and do it all over again. As a child, Sam doesn't think he had much formal acting training, which he thinks would have made him a more interesting actor, but it's hard to imagine Sam being any more interesting. But the fact that he would say something like that in the public may be a sign of how honest he is. You could say that Sam is very picky about the parts he takes on, but he has more artistic power than that. He has sometimes written scripts when it was necessary, and he's never given up when he doesn't agree with the director. Someone reported him as saying, "I'd rather be a pain in the ass and make better art." This shows that he's ready to fight the powers that be. Hollywood's changes. As someone who's watched TV for 50 years, Sam knows a lot about how movies have changed over that time. Of course, not everything's changed. For example, actors still have to learn their lines and play them out. Sam says there are some constants that are never going to change, but he also says that technology may be the thing that's changed Hollywood the most. The actor once said, "Changes in technology have revolutionized the movie business on almost every level." He went on to say, "It's most obvious in the field of special effects, but it affects every part of making every kind of movie. Everything from camera's internals to the microphone size and placement to the editor's room tools. Everything's different now." At a time. However, Sam Elliott has never been one to worry too much about the future or dwell too long on the past. He's not too worried about what movie fans will remember about him in the future. Sam thinks that we should live in the present and pay more attention to the jobs that we have at any given time. Not only is this a good way to think, but it's also likely to lead to the kind of impact that many people would be crazy about. Throughout his whole career, Elliott has always had a positive outlook. He's been quoted as saying, "It's hard work, but it's a creative, artistic process. And if you can't enjoy that, then you're going about it wrong." Where is he today? Sam Elliott lives on a beautiful ranch in Harrisburg, Oregon. He wants to live there full-time, even though he only spends about 1 month a year there now. Elliott became Catherine Ross's 5th husband when he married her in 1984. In Malibu, California, they have a daughter named Chloe who writes songs. Ross and Elliott bought a ranch in Malibu in the 1970s and now live in it. Elliott also takes care of a farm in Oregon's Willamette Valley. After his mother died in 2012 at the age of 96, he also bought the house where he grew up in Northeast Portland. Sam Elliott won Best Male Actor in a Television Movie or Limited Series at the SAG Awards 2023, which was a very important moment in his life. We're sad to see one of the great stars that everyone loves getting older, and it's clear why he's slowing down. We wish him a good life wherever he is, and glad to see him settle down after so many sad events.